is Alan Jackson from the CBS Newsroom.
Oklahoma City's man-killing leopard is still on the loose this afternoon, but just a short while ago it was sighted at a highway intersection about 4 miles north of the Oklahoma City Zoo from which it escaped yesterday. Coal negotiators held their first Sunday conference this morning, recessed for lunch, and then this afternoon broke up into 2 sessions, operators in one room, the union in another, with government mediators shuttling back and forth between them. But there is no sign of any progress toward a settlement of the dispute, and government seizure of the mines is not considered a sure cure. Maryland's Democratic Senator Tidings, for one, says such action would pose a threat to the constitutional rights of the miners, and it might not work anyway. Tomorrow, 180,000 people besides the miners will be out of work because of the coal shortages. Meantime, new cold weather is chilling a large part of the nation, particularly in the Northeast and Midwest. The extreme cold temperatures prevail as far south as the Carolinas and as far west as Oklahoma and Kansas. In diplomatic circles, it's revealed that the government of Israel has appealed to both the United States and Britain for arms and military equipment to bolster its army and air force. And in Tel Aviv, Israel's chief of staff says all signs indicate that the country's Arab neighbors are arming feverishly for a second round in the Palestine war. The famed Scottish comedian Sir Harry Lauder died today in Scotland. He was 79 and had been ill for several months. In Germany, the socialists have accused the communists of counterfeiting West German marks for use in purchasing industrial goods in the Ruhr for the Russian zone. Yugoslavia's Marshal Tito has again warned the Yugoslav people that they cannot expect any special assistance from the West and must be ready to overcome present economic difficulties themselves. In Moscow, the Soviet writer Ilya Ehrenberg, in a new attack on this country, says that America's bombs and super bombs are primarily blackmail. And the official newspaper Pravda accuses us of unjustified aggression in breaking diplomatic relations with Bulgaria. Donald Heath, our ex-minister to Bulgaria, who is now en route to Paris, says he has good reason to believe that the communist Bulgarian government was both surprised and disappointed at our diplomatic break. Pope Pius, fully recovered from his recent illness, held an hour-long audience for some 5,000 Holy Year pilgrims today, while Rome police called out riot squads to break up a battle between neo-fascists and socialists in downtown Rome. British officials in Singapore have arrested the Dutch outlaw Turk Westerling on charges of entering the city without a permit. Indonesian officials have formally requested his extradition on charges of leading a guerrilla revolt in Java last month, but it's understood that the charge on which Westerling is being held is not an extraditable offense. And those are the news highlights to the moment. We return you now to James Fassett in Carnegie Hall.
CBS believes in presenting both sides of a question, even when it comes to comedy. That's why if you tune in over most of these same CBS stations tonight, you can hear how to tackle the problems of romance from the standpoint of that lovelorn schoolmarm, Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden. Then, a little later, when you meet Corliss Archer, you'll get a good idea of how our teenagers go about getting dates. It's all in fun, of course, and you'll be sure to get plenty of laughs. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
WCCO, St. Paul, Minneapolis. Listen to this. Make advance selection in Powers Goodwill Day sale tomorrow. Extra savings, extra bargains, extra shopping hours. Powers open tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Shop till 8:45 tomorrow night. Buy all your spring apparel and home needs now at Powers Extra Low Goodwill Day prices. The official Twin Cities temperature is 19.
Oh, so official. That sound, the sound of the 44BX, that cavity resonance. And
hello there, welcome to Planet America.
we better turn that off. That's something else. But my goodness me, how about that? That was
fully modulated, all right, isn't it?
Yeah. So there you have it. That's a CBS News broadcast from 1950, apparently.
Wow.
Yeah. What a fascinating. And some of the some situations have not changed at all.
Sounded just part of it could have been there, couldn't it?
It could have been.
A bit of it.
Yes, indeed.
Marshal Tito tipped me off, though, the reference to
Yes, I think so. And but referring to Israel and Palestine, my goodness me, it could have been. It could be right now.
I've got a feeling it'll be the same in another 50 years.
Yeah, I have a feeling you're right. Yeah. Anyhow,
not.
I certainly hope not too, Frank. Anyhow, how have you been?
Very well. I rested and recuperated today.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
I feel very good now.
Yeah, thank you for hanging in there last night.
I was all right. I enjoyed it once I
good
got
fun.
into it.
Yeah, it was great. It was great to sort of have a bit of a potpourri, and I ended up playing a couple of tracks.
Oh, I loved the last. I'm glad you kept Kathleen on for one more.
Yeah, so we had to put one extra one on. So we did finish with Kathleen Ferrier last night and two contralto arias from The Messiah, which was all rather fitting. So that was all good fun. And just a range of other bits and bobs that have sort of shown up in the last little while.
While we're settling in, I was listening on 40 metres about 10 minutes ago.
Oh, yes.
And I heard vk3sl.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. Live.
On 7125.
Yeah.
Talking to a local VK3.
Oh, very good. Oh, that's excellent.
From his home, I would guess, from the
Yes.
level of the signal, it wasn't very strong.
Yeah. Fair enough. Okay. Oh,
Strong
that's
enough. He was 5 and 9, but
Yeah. That's great. Oh, you should chime in and see if you can. We'll have to organise a sked, I think.
yeah, well, I'm sure he'd hear me all right.
I'm sure he would.
I get out reasonably well.
Oh,
on
you
40.
do. I've just got to get myself sorted if I'm going to join in any
I'm
such
sure
thing.
you'd be able to quite easily because you get out beautifully on 80 and this band.
Yeah, well, not so much on 80. See, my two antennas that I had for 80/40 are not really working, so it's...
Oh, that's a shame. You used to get out on 80.
I used to get out 80 really well and 40 really well a while ago, and I had a G5RV type. It was sort of a derivative of that antenna, but it was up very high, and it was up the top of that big tree, and then one arm broke off, and then the other arm broke off, and it's completely redundant now, and I just have to get organised and put another one up, and that's it.
Have you still got the tree?
Oh, yeah, the tree's enormous. In fact, if it wasn't for the tree, I wouldn't be doing one. I mean, the tree's about 30 metres tall. It's enormous.
How did you get it up the top?
Well, I used a little Coke bottle rocket launcher.
Say no more.
With fishing line. Anyway, pop over the top of the tree, but that's no longer functional, and I don't know an easy way. I just have to ponder the situation and get organised and just do it.
Mustn't be too hard.
It's not that hard. It's just doing it. It's just putting a day aside, saying this is today's project, and get it done.
You can get things that are air driven.
Yeah, well, you can use drones, of course, as well.
Or drones, yeah, that'd be well.
Just need to get up above a high branch and then just put up another antenna. The only thing is that since that's fallen down, 160's improved significantly, and I think there was an interaction with it. So that's something I might need to consider if I'm going to put up more wire up the tree.
Well, if you want a drone, we have drones.
Okay, yeah, we just need to be... It's a little bit dicey because you have to have a system where you can drop a payload and not get caught up, and it's a little bit particular. It's not... I've tried things in the past without much success.
You have to get well above the tree on the drone, which would be easy.
Yes.
And then very, very specifically drop it.
Yes, you would. And so the tree is absolutely enormous. Has the branches. It's an old cypress tree, and it's very thick, and it's sort of all the branches are over neighbours' yards, so the drone would have to fly well over other people's fences and things. And I think the better.
We try not to do that.
No, that's right. So I think the better solution would be just to either find someone to climb it a fair way up, or to use some sort of projectile launcher that's this slingshotty thing that's safe enough, and be aware of the surroundings and all of that, and or use another tree, because there's other trees on the property as well. So look, it's just a question of getting organised, really. And then I'd like to get back on 80 and 40 very much. Yeah. And that would be another venture. So yep. Plans on the horizon. Plan number 408. Yeah, I've been just doing boring schoolwork for much of the day today. After this weekend, it all relaxes quite a bit. I have more headspace after this weekend, or after next weekend, really. There's still a lot to do next weekend. Then everything sort of winds down, and it sort of, I'm in holiday mode effectively. It's just wrapping up programs and moving into a much more relaxed space.
That's excellent.
It is. It's good, Frank. Yay. All right. Well, I've got Charlie Mingus on the list, and it could be good to do something a bit later on. Maybe we'll play that Chase Sambin at the end or something.
It's fairly long.
Yeah, maybe we could do Right Out with it or something at the...
Sure, if you'd like to.
Yeah, maybe it's
worth listening to.
Oh, look, I'd like to hear it very much.
He was a colourful character, to say the least.
Yeah, okay.
But he's made over 30 albums.
That's astonishing, isn't it?
It is astonishing.
Yeah, that's just amazing.
He's recognised as being, in the top sort of echelon. He worked with Duke Ellington a bit.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. I've never associated.
Didn't know it until yesterday either.
Yeah, maybe in the later period with Ellington, would it be? Or
in the 60s.
In the 60s, yeah. Okay. Did he sort of move into that jazz rock fusion type thing, or did he still...
It was really in the bop sort of era.
Yes.
But then he kind of went his own way. He was...
Okay.
He was a one-off.
Okay, wow. Gosh, sounds interesting.
He's a fascinating character.
We'll see how we go. Maybe I'll preview. We'll see what we can organise. All right, well, we have a 20s hit. It's a recording of Charlie Straight. I think it's an early one, very early Charlie Straight from the mid-20s. It's on an old Brunswick with the gold leaf worn off, barely recognisable. And... So I've got it sort of ready to go. I can't even see the title of the song, but it's classic 20s, mid-20s fare. Not even sure if it'll be interesting to see if it's a light beam disc or not. Not quite certain what the story is. I'm just switching things in as we speak. But yes, our 20s hit for the day, the music of Charlie Straight. You just had the proverbial wall of sound. Well, it's sort of an amalgam of a record in poor condition with all the scratch and a light beam presentation with lots of intermod distortion.
On, isn't it?
Yes, it gives you that illusion of a small band sounds like a very large band because of all the intermod. Yeah. But I did like the interweaving little embroidery saxophone solo on that. There was a straight trumpet line, and in the midst of it, there was some nice saxophonic embroidery. I thought it was very nice and quite. It was definitely improvised. So Charlie Straight and his orchestra on an old Brunswick. Yeah, sifting through another pile, and a record I can't recall hearing, and I'm dying to hear it because it's Spike Jones, and Spike Jones is always good. And in this instance, we've got two 20s revival songs where he definitely takes the piss. We've got the Charleston. I want to hear both sides, actually. You've got the Charleston, and Yes, We Have No Bananas. Now, the Charleston is Spike Jones and his City Slickers. Vocal refrain, wait for it, by Mr. Gilbert and Sully Van.
There you go.
So there we go. We'll have to hear this, and then I'll leave you in suspense for side B, because that's there's another play on words on side B. But let's have a listen to the Charleston. Spike Jones. I'm sure he will definitely give it the treatment. So stand on by, folks. We're in for a rough ride.
This is vk3sl
And
working vk3sl.
Yes, test missions.
Charleston, made in Carolina. Some dance, some pants. I'll say there's nothing finer than the Charleston. Boy, how you can shuffle. Every step you do leads to something new. Man, I'm telling you, it's a lot of zoo. Buck dance, swing dance, will be a back number. But the Charleston, the new Charleston, that dance is surely a comer. Sometime you'll dance it one time. The dance called the Charleston, made in South Carolina. be a back number, but the Charleston, the new Charleston, that dance is surely a comer. Sometime you dance it one time. The dance called the Charleston, made in South Carolina.
Yay, it had the treatment. That was a classic, Spike Jones and his mad bunch. And I'm quite fascinated by that because he evokes the Paul Whiten recording from 1925.
Yeah.
He actually quotes from it. In fact, a lot of that is directly lifted from it. And,
okay.
And I might play it now because have a listen. You'll hear it's very, very similar. And he glams it up, of course. But there was a lot of very direct quotes from this recording made 20 years prior. Have a listen to this, folks. It's interesting. There you go. Recorded on the 5th of July, 1925.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, so it had some direct similarities. It was referencing it, which I thought was interesting. And it's quite possible some of the musicians in Spike Jones's band were playing with Whiteman. I think Red Engel played with Whiteman at one point. I might be wrong. But, yeah, interesting one. I'll just follow that. I really quite like that arrangement, and it sort of exemplifies the era in so many ways. It's got lots of raw energy, and it's white musicians trying to sort of embrace the new vogue, and I just think there's something compelling about the way they perform that. And on that day, they did several takes. They released that one, but there's another one they kept in reserve, which is quite different. They changed up. It's essentially the same arrangement with some different rhythm section. I think they got rid of the scat and changed it up. Just for reference, I'll play this unissued version of it, unpublished version of the Charleston from the same day in 1925.
Very good.
It's a bit of a lead-in for this one. Comes from an anthology. Okay, there we have another take from that same recording session. Interesting, it's disputed when it was recorded. The official record says the 5th of July, 1925. Whoa. We know that one. It looks like we've got
on the rip.
Yes, it looks like the thing's on continuous cycle here. I'll have to attend to that. Otherwise, we're going to get lots of associated music, which will creep into our playlist. Yeah. Yes, I know it's happened. I can just switch that off right now, as much as it's sort of fun, letting the algorithm find things. But, anyhow, the recording date was July, 5th of July 25, but apparently it was made on the 7th of May, and they got the 7 and the 5 around the wrong way. So, there we go. Not that really means anything, but yes, some people get very particular about dates and absolutes and all of that.
I know.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll have a look at the other side, I think, of the Spike Jones record.
Yes, we have a banana.
Yay! So it says...
It's a bit of a sort of a send-up song itself, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Vocal refrain is Joe Strauss, Freddie Morgan, and Sir Frederick Gass. Oh, I've got to hear this. I can't recall ever hearing this record before. I wasn't aware of this. It's got a fairly early EA number. I reckon it's early Spike Jones. It's that sort of possibly pre-war or wartime fare.
Yeah, sure.
But, yeah, we've got to
I've
hear
never
this.
heard it.
Yeah, we've got to hear this. So let's we'll cue it up now. Drop the needle, and we should be in business.
I need not search for precious gold, of wealth I have my share. For with my eyes I scan the skies, and find my fortune there. A host of priceless dreams unfold, in songs that bluebirds sing. The earth, the sea, belong to me. I'm richer than a king. To add to things that money cannot buy, an echo brings this very soft reply.
Yes, we have no bananas. We have no bananas today. We string beans and onions, cabbages and scallions, and all kinds of fruit and say. We have an old-fashioned tomato, Long Island potato. But yes, we have no bananas. We have no bananas today.
Yes, we know you got there bananas. We know you got there banana today. But what do we know? We got a new kind of the garlic. When you use this garlic, they make you spend a part from your friends. We got a 64,000 watermelon. We don't sell any, but the guy we buy them from, Mamma Mia, does he sell a watermelon? But yes, we know you got there bananas. Hey, Ryan, we know you got there bananas today. Yes, we have no bananas. What's that in off a banana? Now what good is a banana split? We have muttons and buttons and kippers with zippers and pounds of devaluated pounds. Banana, S-T-I-N-K. They ain't no stinking bananas. Precisely, they ain't no stinking bananas. Yes, we have no bananas. Pip, pip, cheerio and off the tree. Yes, got bananas. You got bananas today. We got pickles and cracks. We got bagels and lots. A bagel that's a donor dipped in cement. We got delicious knishes and kosher champagne. The kosher champagne is 2 cents plain. Pastrami, salami, matzahs, and jam. You should pardon the expression. We even got ham, but yes, we ain't got bananas. We ain't got bananas today.
I fall down exhausted after hearing that.
Oh, boy.
They really did it. Yeah, amazing. It's like a frenetic overdrive and everything all in one. Incredible lyrics, actually. It's hard to hear. There was a bit of a Muffle Missions recording. I think it's had a lot
Worth playing a few times. I really strained to get them, and I got them pretty well.
Yeah, sure. No, it's just that one Jewish bit at the end.
Oh, yeah.
With the bagels.
It's lovely stuff.
It's just brilliant. I love it. They're such good musicians. There's a real sense of they've just got the whip crack pulse. Everything is just so time aligned.
They play great trad jazz, don't they?
They do. Yeah, he had top line musicians and he paid them very well. And I think that it was sort of like a it's like the musicians went through the Whiteman group. Others had to go through Spike Jones. This is a rite of passage sort of thing.
Oh, yeah. I heard the other day I heard the first Spike Jones record I ever heard.
Oh.
And I was very vividly reminded of it because I heard it as a little kid.
Yeah, totally.
It's called My Old Flame.
Oh, My Old Flame. I love that one.
When I heard it, I didn't know about Spike Jones or anything. I must have been about 6.
Yeah.
And I was very frightened.
Yes.
If you sort of think of yourself as a 6-year-old kid and listen to it.
Yes.
It's this mad bloke.
Yes.
That sets fire to things.
Yes, that's right. He does. And that's so true. Because there's this sort of twisted character who goes nuts.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, let's put it on.
I thought, my God, what is this?
Yes, we're going to rekindle your childhood memory now, Frank.
Good,
Here we go.
Good. I'm okay with it now.
Yeah, we're going to channel the 6-year-old Frank here and have a listen to the 1947 big hit, My Old Flame, with Spike Jones and his City Slickers.
My old flame, I can't even think of her name, but it's funny now and then how my thoughts go flashing back again to my old flame. I've met so many who had fascinating ways, a fascinating gaze in their eyes. Some who took me up to the skies, but their attempts at love were only imitations of my old flame. I can't even think of her name, but I'll never be the same until I discover what became of my old flame.
My old flame. I can't even think of her name. I'll have to look through my collection of human heads. But it's funny now and then how my thoughts go flashing back again to my old flame. My old flame. My new lovers all seem so tame. They won't even let me strangle them. For I haven't met a girl so magnificent or elegant as my old flame. I've met so many who had fascinating ways, a fascinating gaze in their eye. I saw this eye, so I removed the other eye, that eye that kept winking and blinking at other men. It was me. Some who took me up to the skies, but their attempts at love were only imitations of my old flame. I can't even think of her name. Wait, what was her name? Doris, Laura, Chloe, Manny, Mo, Jack. No, it couldn't have been Mo. I can't stand it, I tell you. This is driving me sane. She would always treat me mean, so I poured the can of gasoline and struck a match to my old flame.
Frank, that's absolutely terrifying.
How to give a 6-year-old nightmares, Steve.
Absolutely. Collection of heads. Oh, that really, it's
Listen
chilling.
to the words very carefully.
Yes.
I thought, my God.
Yes, and it's so convincing. The thing is, the secret is, the first part is so well done,
Yeah, I know.
and it's so straight, and it's just completely like a normal song,
Yeah.
and you get absorbed this really good singing, beautiful, everything about it is just top class, and then suddenly it just gear change, double D clutch, go into another realm. It's just this juxtaposition thing. And there's not even a hint of comedy at the start, and suddenly, bang, you're just thrown in.
Pretty
And
black comedy when you get it.
oh, that is really black comedy. That is black as black. I don't think I've ever heard anything quite so
For its
demented.
time, it was really out of character.
Oh, totally. And I was wondering if it sort of had a bit of almost Cold War sentiment about it, sort of the mad Eastern German scientist.
That's right.
I mean, wow, but crazy, the psychopath. Oh, that really, it's still, I found that really chilling. It's amazing it got through the censor, to be honest.
No.
But I suppose it's just so sort of out there that people sort of saw it for what it
Well,
was.
that's all right, if you know what's
But
going on.
Fred, did you discuss it with your folks? Did you ever sort of like say, what's this about?
Yeah, because I had a nightmare.
Yeah, I bet you did. I mean, anyone would.
I went and told Mum.
Yeah.
She said, it's only just a song.
She said
Nothing.
that. Yeah.
Just a joke, she said.
Yeah, totally. Because it's so just horrible and accurate and
But I said, how can it be a joke?
yeah.
Starts a fire and kills
I
someone.
know, totally. And kids don't understand, irony of.
I understood what the words meant.
Yes, of course you did. And but just the irony and the I don't know, the twisted nature of it, that metaphorical thing. Oh, goodness me. All right. Well, that's a sort of a powerful, formative memory there, Frank. Thank you.
I just heard it the other day and it brought it all back.
And brought it back to you. Wow, 6-year-old. My goodness me, you're a champion. Overcoming that. A lot of people would be sort of, extensively traumatized. But,
Yeah, I did. I was for a while. I used to get traumatized by things.
Yeah,
And then I'd be, that couple of days, I'd be right.
Yeah, sure. I can understand completely. Yeah, I mean, you're a sensitive person. Yeah, all right. Well, I've got another sort of slightly comedic record. It's just in the batch. It's a Regal Zonophone from about 1933, not long before Annette Hanshaw retired. She sort of threw in the towel and basically just gave up the music business after being absolutely at the top of her game. And I was just reading about it before, and it says she was, in 1934, a poll conducted by Radio Stars magazine, she received the title of the best female popular singer. Crossview voted the best male popular singer.
Oh, boy.
Isn't that amazing? Annette Hanshaw. Incredible.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, she was just huge. And she sort of did that, she was a little bit like Helen Kane and did that side.
Oh, yeah, the boop, boop, boop.
Yeah, a little bit like that. But look, she had a beautiful sense of style, but she often sang sort of comedic songs as well. Made a lot of recordings with original Memphis 5 and Rudy Valley. And
Oh, yeah.
look, I think we did do emissions on her a long time ago, but maybe it's due for a revival. But she lived right up until the 1980s. I do remember when we did our program on her a while back, we found there was a recording from the 1940s or 50s where she hadn't sung for decades, and she came back and just sort of just riffed on a few of her earlier themes. It was a part of a radio program, Bing Crosby Show or something, and it was quite powerful.
Oh, good.
Because she'd retired, and I think she retired in her 20s or early 30s after absolutely
Get
top
married
of
or something.
Yeah, I don't know if she did. She probably did. Yes, she did. Yes, she had a couple of spouses and over the course of things, but she lived until 1985 and lived to the age of 83. So look, we'll hear this Annette Hanshaw record. It's this little pea went to market. It's pretty scratched up, but hopefully it'll be all right. I've got a truncated elliptical. Start us at our service, and if we just give it the treatment, it should hopefully be okay.
I have heard sophisticated love songs, rhapsodies and symphonies galore. They never faze me or amaze me. It's funny how I still adore This little piggy went to market. This little piggy stayed home. This little piggy had roast beef. This little piggy had none. How I recall my dear old mother putting me to bed. She tucked me in and said to her little sleepy head, this little piggy was a bad little piggy who cried all the way home. Years have passed, but it's still my favorite song. I dream and pray someday I'll say to a cute little piggy of my own. This little piggy went to market. This little piggy stayed home. That's the story of the three little pigs and the big bad, very bad wolf. Wee, wee, wee. Here's a story that you surely know, and you've heard it many years ago. Mommy, tell me the story of the little pig that cried all the way home. What was he crying for, Mommy? Didn't he want to eat his spinach? Oh, that little piggy was a bad little piggy who cried all the way home. Years have passed, but it's still my favorite poem. I dream and pray someday I'll say to a cute little piggy of my own. This little piggy went to market. This little piggy stayed home.
That was done very sensitively, actually. I was quite impressed with her delivery. And
I like the voice.
Yeah, he's got a beautiful voice and a very natural sort of flow. She's
Yeah,
just
yeah. She wasn't trying.
No,
It
she was.
came out.
Yeah, and look, by all accounts, she sort of sang quite a bit of jazz as well. But look,
Hear her sing, yeah. You would. She's got a good voice.
Yeah, I think so. One of her big hits was "He's So Unusual," which was it's a great song. In fact, I'll here it is. Yeah, I'll play it now. This is great. This came out in 1929. This was a song that sold millions. And funny enough, Cyndi Lauper covered this song in the 80s. Yes, and she imitated.
I like Cyndi Lauper.
Yes, I will see if I can find the Cyndi Lauper version to play after this. It's very short, it only goes for about 30 seconds, but she did as a prelude to Bebop or one of those songs, and she put in artificial scratch and made herself sound like Anna Henshaw. But I'll play the original first and see if I can find the Cyndi Lauper version thereafter.
Talk of sweeties, bashful sweeties, I've got one of those. Oh, he's handsome as can be, but he worries me. He goes to college and gathers knowledge. Oh, what that boy knows. He's up in his Latin and Greek, but in his chicken he's weak. 'Cause when I want some lovin', and I gotta have some lovin', he says, please, stop it please. He's so unusual. When I want some kisses, and I gotta have some kisses, he said, no, let me go. Oh, he's so unusual. I know lots of boys who could be crazy over me if they only had this fellow's opportunity. You know, I would let him pet me parks in the dark. Oh, he's so unusual. And when we're riding in a taxi, he converses with the chauffeur. Oh, why don't he talk to me? He's so different. Others would be tickled pink too, but he don't even know what ba-ba-da-da-ba-da's about. He thinks love is hokum. Just like to choke him. 'Cause he's so unusual that he drives me wild.
There we go, with the boop boop doop at the end, and at Henshaw with a big hit. That's actually a different take of it. There are various versions of that around. And
it's a lot like Helen Kane there.
Yeah, she is. Yes, she is channeling Helen Kane. And here is Cyndi Lauper channeling Helen Kane and Anna Henshaw and all of the Boop Boop Doop girls. And this was from her, what album was it? The big album she put out in the early 80s. What's it called? Cyndi Lauper. We've got the album here somewhere. He's So Unusual is the name of the album. Yeah. I think. Yeah, anyhow, let's have a listen.
You talk of sweeties, bashful sweeties. I got one of those. Oh, he's handsome as can be, but he worries me. He goes to college and gathers knowledge. Oh, and that boy knows he's up in his Latin and Greek, but in his chic and his weak calls when I want some love. And I gotta have some lovin'. He says, please, stop it, please. He's so unusual.
Okay, there we have it. That's all there is.
I love it.
Yes.
I heard Cyndi do stuff like that.
Yeah, it's
I
great.
think she had it in her.
Yeah, she did. And isn't that great? She's referencing these great sort of divas from the from way back when. And
quite fond of Cyndi.
Yeah, she's good. She's still out there strutting her stuff, and she's got lots of spunk and red hair. She's got red hair, and she moves and grooves and just shakes her hips, and she's just ragdoll.
Did a big hit that I loved called Time After Time.
Oh, that's a beautiful song. Yeah, it's probably here. I can play it. Then I might go back and play a couple of Time After Time. I like this song. Now, yeah, this is good. Yes, the name of the album is She's So Unusual. And I grew up with this album. My sister had it. Yeah, so I remember hearing this. And I remember thinking, wow, there's a 78 on this album. But if you listen closely, there's a fundamental mistake with that. Did you hear that the noise and the hiss in the background was actually rotating at 33, not at 78?
Oh.
Yes, so, yeah.
Well spotted.
That's the thing.
Sorry about the speedies. But they were very well picked up.
Not many people would pick that up. All right, here we go. Time After Time. It's a beautiful song. I acknowledge that. It's quite powerful, actually.
I think it's very lovely. It really gets to me.
Sure. Let's have a listen. Cyndi Lauper.
Fly
second-hand unwind. If you're lost, you can look and you will find me. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you. I'll be waiting. Time after time. If you're lost, you can look and you will find me. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you. I'll be waiting. Time after time.
After my picture fades and darkness has turned to grey, watching through windows, you're wondering if I'm okay. Secrets stolen from deep inside. The drum beats out of time. If you're lost, you can look and you will find me. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you. I'll be waiting. Time after time. You said go slow, I fall behind. The second-hand unwind. If you're lost, you can look and you will find me. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you. I'll be waiting. Time after time. If you're lost, you can look and you will find me. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you. I'll be waiting. Time after time. 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 Time
Yeah, it sends shivers there, Frank. I love that song. Do you know,
I love the finish.
yeah, it's beautiful the way it fades. Actually, I associate that song with the film Strictly Ballroom, bit of a family fave film.
Right.
Yeah, and with Paul Mercurio. Paul Mercurio who's the son, and Tara Maurice, and they did a version of it actually on the film, and it's sort of like the high point in the film. It's a really beautiful, poignant moment in the film when they're dancing and they sing the songs presented, and it's just really a reflective moment actually. So
Lovely,
and
thank you.
locally produced. So I'll play that version as well because I think it's good to sort of riff on these subjects. It's one of those enduring melodies, isn't it? That just sort of has a.
It's got some characteristic. I can't really put my finger on it.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that.
Sort of draws you in.
It does. All right, let's have a listen. Strictly Ballroom, Time After Time.
Lying in my bed, I hear the clock tick and think of you. Caught up in circles, confusion is nothing new. Flashback, more nights almost left behind. Suitcase of memories, time after.
Sometimes you picture me, I'm walking too far ahead. You're calling to me, I can't hear what you've said.
fades and darkness has turned to gray. Watching through windows, you're wondering if I'm okay. Secrets stolen from deep inside. The drum beats out of time.
If you're lost, you can look and you will find me. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you. I'll be waiting. Time after time. Time after time. Time after time.
Then you say, go slow, I fall behind. The second hand unwinds.
If you're lost, you can look and you will find me. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you. I'll be waiting. Time after time. If you're lost, you can look and you will find me. Time after time.
If you fall, I will catch you.
I will be waiting. Time after time. Time after time.
Time after time.
Time after time.
Time after time.
Time after time.
Time after time.
Time after time.
Time after time.
Time after time.
Time after time.
There we go. My favourite cover of Time After Time from the film Strictly Ballroom. I think that's Baz Luhrmann's magnum opus, actually. I think that's the film he really shone in. It's a magnificent film.
What a lovely version.
It's beautiful, yeah. Paul Mercurio and Tara Maurice both
Yes,
doing the
lovely.
vocals. They're locally produced.
She's excellent.
Yeah. No, they're really good, and just a nice take on it. And it's a really powerful moment in the film, so I always associate that. And I, at the same time, I was hearing the Cyndi Lauper version as well. So, yes, that piece is in my DNA as well. Beautiful
Oh,
song.
that's really good.
Yay. So thank you for that, Frank. Yeah, that was a
you.
nice little rabbit hole.
You're good at rabbit holes.
Yeah, it's good. Livia's going to pop in. She's here with a friend, and they're not going to go on air, but they're just going to watch and be in here as
Just
well.
say hello.
Yeah, I will. I absolutely will say hello to them both. Yeah, all right. Well, we can move in any direction really from here. There is a version of this with Miles. I don't think it's the same song. It's Time After Time with Miles Davis.
Yeah, there's another.
It's another song.
Time after time. Da, 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 da.
Okay, so I think it's Frank Sinatra made it.
That's right. It's a different song.
It's a different song. All right, we'll leave it.
It's a good song.
All right. Well, maybe we can. So we've got a sort of a link of sorts. We can give that a whirl. Here we go.
Time after time, they tell me that I'm so lucky to be loving you.
Oh, here we go. Yes. Well, look, any excuse to play Miles Davis's music. It's always good. So, yeah, we can have some Miles and then we'll see where we go. I haven't got a lot of time, actually, because time after time. There's no more time because we've got people coming over in about 20 or about half an hour. So
You're not on tomorrow.
No.
Friday, how's the next weekend look?
Looking okay, Frank. I think next week should be good. I'll be sort of over the hump by next weekend. All the marks have to be into the system by next Friday, I think. But there'll be adjustments over the weekend. But I think I should be okay.
A couple of lunches, but I should be all right.
Oh, that's good. That'd be great. Yay. All right. Well, let's have another Time After Time. This one was a different version, different song with Miles Davis. Recorded in the 70s, early 80s. It's quite late, I think. Sounds like it might be the same.
Probably is. Miles went all crazy at the end and did all sorts of poppy stuff.
Okay, it
It is the same,
sounds
sure.
sounds very
But there
phasey.
is this other song.
Okay, sure. This sounds very phasey.
Indeed.
Yeah. All right, see where it goes.
Miles got on the cocaine, unfortunately.
Yeah. I just love the pace of the song. Ambient and phasey, all the effects there. That was a marvellous version. And now great minds think alike, because in the midst of all of that, Mr. OP chimed in. So hello to you, Frank. And he came up, he mentioned that that's the this version. So happy to play it.
Oh, great!
Yeah,
Frank.
I've had some correspondence with Frank actually this week, and he's mentioned to me that we're talking about Rodrigo e Gabriela, the two guitarists, coming to Melbourne next year.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're at Northcote Theatre, and I'd love to go actually, but I just got to check in with my schedules, because April's a busy concert month. So once I find out my schedules and if there's tickets left, it could be interesting.
Yes, I'll look at it as well.
Yeah, so that's a bit of a special event. So thanks for that. And I also correspond with him because of my latest movie craze. And yes, he, Mr. OP being a movie man, he may have some contacts to source some 16mm double sprocket film, which is an almost unobtainium. So let's play some Rodrigo y Gabriela, and here we go. Here's a track called Orion.
Right.
Yay, that was the music of Rodrigo y Gabriela Orion, studio version from the album of, is it the album of the same name? I wonder. Yeah, anyhow. So they're coming to Melbourne next year. So we'll hopefully can make it and maybe do some more programs about them. Frank, it'd be nice to have you back on. So if you could make it some point, it would be really good. Yeah, so...
certainly would.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, Frank's just chimed in with another version of Time After Time, and it's from the Postmodern Jukebox, and it's sung here by 14-year-old Caroline Barron, it says. Okay, well, I'm up for another version, and after that I'll need to sort of start to tie up, but we'll hear one more Time After Time, because I do like the idea of going down the rabbit hole with songs. So here we go. Another one, Time After Time. And I'm vk3sl.
I'm vk3sl.
Test missions on 160 and on UHF and streaming online. You can hear us on YouTube where there is logs of past programs. Just look up my call sign.
Lying in my bed, I hear the clock tick. I think of you, caught up in circles. Confusion is nothing new. Flashback, warm nights, almost left behind. Suitcases of memories. Time after, sometimes you picture me. I'm walking too far ahead. You're calling to me. I can't hear what you have said. Then you said, go slow, I fall behind. The second hand unwinds. If you're lost, you can look and you will find me. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you. I will be waiting. Time after time. After my picture fades and darkness has turned to gray, watching through windows, you're wondering if I'm okay. Secrets stolen from deep inside. The drum beats out of time. If you're lost, you can look and you will find me. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you. I will be waiting. Time after time. On under all day. Then you said, go slow, I fall behind. The second hand unwind. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you. I will be waiting. Time after time. If you're lost, you can look and you will find me. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch
talented singer, Carolyn Barron.
What a mature voice for 14.
Yeah, totally. Incredible. Postmodern jukebox. And that had a harpist performing with them.
Yeah.
The harp is so beautiful in that context, I think.
Oh, lovely, lovely.
It's really special. That's great. Yay. All right. Well, at this point, I will need to wrap for this week.
Better go and eat as well.
Yeah, so it's all sort of moving forward. But look, I will play this Charles Mingus, Angry Man of Jazz, this Charles Sandburn
good.
thing.
Yes, well, I'll record it.
Yeah. I'll play it now, and I'll be sort of listening here and there, and I will listen to it properly on one of my walks.
Yeah.
And then this can be a bit of a teaser, perhaps, and we can sort of have more of Charlie Mingus in for future missions. But it's all
He's a very interesting and a very important character too.
Sure.
You'll find from listening to Chase.
Yay. All right, that sounds good. All right. Well, I'll look forward to that. And so thank you.
Thank you.
And
Good
thanks.
evening, Frank, if you're still listening.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Hope to talk soon.
Yes, and thanks for the input. And to you, Frank, as well. And it's been great. It's been
Always,
really,
Steve,
yeah,
always.
it's been fun. So, yeah, back on board next week, next Friday, same place, same thing, all of that.
Cheery good evening to the listener.
Yeah.
And many Cheerios.
Yes.
And all that.
All of that. All right. Thank you so much. Have a lovely week, Frank. All the best to you. And vk3sl saying cheers for now. We look forward to your company downstream. And let's have a listen to Chase Sandburn, episode number 58, Charles Mingus.
And his moods ran the full gamut. Mingus was a powerful and domineering presence, physically and musically. The bass seemed almost like a toy in his hands. He loved to challenge and test people, both with the music he wrote and in his personal interactions. The flautist Yusef Lateef said, "Instead of providing chord changes, Mingus drew a picture of a coffin. That was the substance on which I was to improvise." His wife Sue said, "Mingus's music was continually surprising and unexpected, just like he was as a human being. In the course of a performance or an album, you're going to hear the huge range of emotions that he felt at the time." As a composer, Mingus is considered by many to be on the level of Duke Ellington, who was Mingus's greatest inspiration. Mingus's collected works are housed at the Library of Congress, similar to Duke's, which are housed at the Smithsonian, and that puts him in the top tier of 20th century American composers. Gunther Schuller and others have compared him to Charles Ives or Stravinsky, particularly in the way he wrote uncomfortably difficult parts, presumably because he liked to hear the musicians reach beyond their comfort zone. Charles Mingus was born in 1922 and raised in Los Angeles. His ancestry was mixed race, including Chinese, German, Swedish, and Black American. He described himself as no color, although he associated closely with the Black American fight for equality. Sue Mingus said, "His music really had to do with the heart and soul and what it was like to be an African American in a racist society." Growing up, he played both trombone and cello. He had early training and a lifelong interest in classical music. Gunther Schuller called him one of the early proponents of third stream. Early gigs included work with Louis Armstrong and Lionel Hampton and a brief time in his idol Duke Ellington's band. That gig was cut short by a fight with Duke's trombone player Juan Tizol. Now, like many of the stories about Mingus's life, there are conflicting versions of that event, but it was clear pretty early on that Mingus was not cut out to be anything but a leader. In the early 1950s, Mingus worked with Charlie Parker, who he admired, while he disdained those who rode on his coattails. He said, "I could never get Bird to play more than 2 choruses. Now, kids play 50,000. Who is that good?" Mingus played on and recorded the famous Massey Hall concert with Bird and Diz. He released the record with an overdubbed bass part on his independent label Debut Records, which he co-founded with Max Roach. The money to start up the label came from Mingus's mother-in-law, and his wife Celia handled most of the business aspects. When Celia remarried in 1960, Mingus gifted the catalog to Celia and her husband Saul. Saul became the head of Fantasy Records, which eventually reissued most of the debut recordings. From the mid-1950s and into the 60s, Mingus worked with a rotating cast of musicians in a repertory-style group he called the Jazz Workshop, in which he often taught the music to the musicians by ear. Mingus, like Duke Ellington, had specific musicians in mind as he composed. Although Duke did encourage unique musical voices in his band, Mingus perhaps more so encouraged his musicians to take on a greater role in the creation of the music itself. Trombonist Sam Burtis said, "Mingus's music isn't about the notes, it's about the emotional content of the music to a much larger degree than almost any other musician." Mingus's output during this time period was prodigious. He recorded 30 albums in about 10 years. His music incorporated elements ranging from New Orleans polyphony or Dixieland up through the avant-garde or free. In the liner notes for the 1956 Pithecanthropus erectus, Mingus describes the title song, in erudite fashion, as depicting the rise of man from his hominid roots to an eventual downfall due to his own failure to realize the inevitable emancipation of those he sought to enslave and his greed in attempting to stand on a false security. The 1957 release, The Clown, was the first for drummer Danny Richmond, who stayed with Mingus for the rest of his life, and also for Jimmy Knepper on trombone. The title track features an improvised narration by radio and TV personality Gene Shepard, based on a dark metaphoric story from Mingus. It tells the tale of a clown who, in Mingus's words, tried to please people like most jazz musicians do, but whom nobody liked until he was dead. My version of the story ended with his blowing his brains out with the people laughing because they thought it was part of the act. I liked the way that Gene changed the ending, leaving it more up to the listener.
This clown, and he was a real happy guy, He had all these greens and all these yellows and all these oranges bubbling around inside of him, and he had just one thing he wanted in this world. He just wanted to make people laugh. That's all he wanted out of this world. He was a real happy guy. Let me tell you about this clown. He used to raise a sweat every night out on that stage and just wouldn't stop. That's how hard he worked. He was trying to make people laugh. He used to have this cute little gimmick where he had a seal follow him up and down a stepladder, blowing Columbia, the Gem of the Ocean on a B-flat Sears Roebuck Model 1322A plastic bugle, a real cute act. But they didn't laugh. Oh, you know, a few little things here and there, but not really. And he was booking out in all these tank towns, playing the Rotary Club and the Kiwanis Club and the American Legion Hall. And he just wasn't making it. And he had all these wonderful things going on inside of him, all these greens and yellows and all these oranges. He's a real happy guy. And all he wanted to do was to make people laugh. That's all he wanted out of this world, was to make people laugh. You know, it's a funny thing. And something began to trouble this clown. You know, little things. Little things once in a while would happen that would make that crowd begin to move. But they were never the right things. Like, for example, the time the seal got sick on the stage, all over the stage, and the crowd just broke up, you know? Little things like that. And they weren't supposed to be in the act, and they weren't supposed to be funny. This began to trouble him, began to bother him. This little thing began to grow inside. All those greens and all those oranges, all those yellows, they just weren't as bright as they used to be. And all he wanted to do was to make that crowd laugh. That's all he wanted to do. There was this one night in Dubuque when he was playing this Rotary Club. All these dentists and all these druggists, all these postmen sitting around, and they were a real cold bunch. Nothing was happening. He was leaving the stage when he stumbled over his ladder and fell flat on his face, just flat on his face. And he stands up, he's got this bloody nose. He looks out at the crowd, and that crowd is just rolling on the floor. He's just knocked them flat out. And right about here, things began to change, but really change. Not the least of which our clown changed his act. Bought himself a set of football pads, a yellow helmet with red stripes, hired a girl who dropped a 5-pound sack of flour on his head every night from maybe 20 feet up. Oh, man, what a bit. That just broke him up every night. But not like Dubuque. And all those colors, all those yellows, all those reds, all those oranges, a lot of gray in there now, a lot of blue. And all he wanted to do was to make this crowd laugh. That's all he wanted out of this world. They were laughing, all right. Not like Dubuque, but they were laughing. And the dough started to come in. He was playing the big towns, Chicago, Detroit. And then it was Pittsburgh one night. Real fine town, Pittsburgh, you know. About 3/4 way through his act, a rope broke. Down came the backdrop, right on the back of the neck. And he went flat. And something broke. This was it. It hurt way down deep inside. He tried to get up. He looked out at the audience. And you should have seen that crowd. They was rolling in the aisle. This was bigger than Dubuque. This was bigger than Dubuque. He really had him going. But this was it. This was the last one. This was the last one. This was the last one. He knew now. Man, he really knew now. But it was too late. And all he wanted was to make this crowd laugh. Well, they were laughing. But now he knew. That was the end of the clown. And you should have seen the bookings coming. Man, his agent was on the phone for 24 hours. The Palladium. MCA. William Morris. But it was too late. He really knew now. He really knew. He really knew now. William Morris sends regrets.
The 1959 Columbia release, Mingus contained 3 songs that are probably his best known. Better Get It in Your Soul, Boogie Stop Shuffle, and Goodbye Pork Pie Hat, which was a tribute to Lester Young. It also contained the instrumental version of Fables of Faubus. The tune protested the actions of Arkansas Governor Orval Faubus, who tried unsuccessfully but relentlessly to block the integration of Little Rock High School in 1957. It's not completely clear, but Columbia may have refused to release the tune with the lyrics, which mocked Faubus. But in any case, it was released again in 1960 on the independent Candid label, including the words and also a spoken introduction and audience sounds dubbed in to make it seem like a live recording. The album, Charles Mingus Presents Charles Mingus, had the same instrumental lineup as Ornette Coleman's quartet, trumpet, sax, bass, and drums. Although Mingus's music definitely had elements that would be considered free or avant-garde, he generally rejected that categorization, insofar as it implied a lack of planning, forethought, or awareness. He compared it to a surgeon who doesn't cut open your chest without an awareness of the procedures and the plan. He said, "If the freeform guys could play the same tune twice, then I would say they were playing something. Most of the time, they use their fingers on the saxophone and they don't even know what's going to come out." Also in 1959, Mingus recorded an album called Blues and Roots, released the next year by Atlantic. In the liner notes, he wrote, "This record represents only one part of my musical world, the blues. Some people, particularly critics, were saying that I didn't swing enough. I was born swinging, and I clapped my hands in church as a little boy, but I've grown up and I like to do things other than just swing." In 1964, Mingus put together the group that we hear on this clip. Mingus started calling the tune So Long, Eric, Don't Stay Over There Too Long because Eric Dolphy had announced that he would leave the group at the end of a tour to remain in Europe. It turned out to be prophetic because Dolphy died a few months later, apparently from a diabetic coma. Mingus said, "When a man dies, you remember, or you say you remember, only the good things about him." With Eric, that's all you could remember. The man was absolutely without a need to hurt. In this clip, we see and hear Johnny Coles on trumpet. At the start of my career, I spent a year standing next to Johnny on Ray Charles' band. It's one of my lasting regrets that I didn't know enough about his history at the time to pick his brain as I would today. This was about a 25-minute performance, so I've done some judicious editing with apologies to the participants. Mingus went through some rough times in the 1960s, and he spent time in psychiatric care. He stopped playing for a while, and he was evicted from his apartment, which was sadly captured on film by the documentarian Thomas Reichman, including this clip of him firing off a rifle inside the apartment.
Just for the hell of it, Tom. Don't get frightened now. Lucky you. It take all day getting this damn thing. This is as ancient as well, I'm gonna shoot it. A gun. We're just acting, right? Yeah, everybody can. That's what I said to tell Tom. Hey, Tom, you dig that, man? That's not bad for not aiming. My country, 'tis of the sweet land of slavery.
Mingus was referred to as the angry man of jazz. He had a notorious temper combined with an intimidating physical presence, and he would lambaste anyone, including the audience. Here's Lorraine Gordon, at the time the owner of the Village Vanguard, remembering how Mingus could react in anger to disturbances from the audience.
Charlie Mingus was a big man with a big talent and a big temper. And people bugged him in the audience for some reason. Someone did. He got very angry. He took his bass and he smashed it through the light up there and broke it. The light's still there, the Mingus light. That's what it's become. He ripped the front door off once, and some little gal this big dragged it home, as I recall.
Mingus famously punched trombonist Jimmy Knepper in the mouth, breaking a tooth and ending his playing career for a while. It resulted in a lawsuit and, unsurprisingly, a separation of their musical partnership. What is surprising is that Knepper eventually returned to working with Mingus. The fact that Knepper could forgive an unforgivable act of violence may speak to what others who knew Mingus describe as a complex personality, someone you could hate, fear, and love in equal measure. Trombonist Eddie Burt said, "I found that as long as you did the right thing, you could get along with Mingus." A humorous fun fact that's at odds with Mingus's angry reputation is that he published a method for toilet training a cat. Mingus wrote some memorable song titles, like "If Charlie Parker Was a Gunslinger, There'd Be a Whole Lot of Dead Copycats," which got shortened to Gunslinging Birds. His contrafact on All the Things You Are, which gets my vote for best title of all time, is All the Things You Could Be by Now If Sigmund Freud's Wife Was Your Mother. In the mid-1970s, Mingus was diagnosed with ALS, which gradually incapacitated him and led to his death in 1979. Even in the advanced stage of his disease, when he could no longer play or write, Mingus would sing music into a tape recorder. At the time of his death, he was working on a project with Joni Mitchell. She recounts, "I went to visit him and liked him immediately. He was already sick and in a wheelchair, but still very vital and concerned. When he became very seriously ill, he and his wife Sue went to a faith healer in Mexico. During that time, I spent 10 days with him. So much of what he felt and described was kindred to my own feelings. Of the melodies he gave me, 2 were too idiomatic. A third was extremely beautiful, but the theme was extremely difficult. The 4 I did complete were all in some way inspired. They came to me in mysterious ways." Here's Joni in 1980, singing Mingus's best-known tune, "Goodbye Pork Pie Hat."
Charlie speaks to Lester, you know someone great has gone. The sweetest swinging music man had a Porky Pig hat on, a bright star in a dark age, when the band stands at 1,000 ways of refusing a black man. Black musician. In those days they put him in an underdog position. They put him in cellars and chitlins. When Lester took him away, arm in arm went black and white, and some saw red and drove them from their hotel bed. Love is never easy. It's short of the hope we have for happiness. Bright and sweet, love is never easy street. Now we are black and white, embracing out in the lunatic New York night. It's very unlikely we'll be driven out of town, or be hung in a tree. That's unlikely. Tonight
Under the night summer serenade of taxi horns and pharmacies, where right or wrong under neon, every feeling goes on. For you and me, the sidewalk is a history book. It's a circus, dangerous clowns, balancing dreadful and wonderful perceptions. They have been handed day by day, generations on down. Came on from the subway on the music midnight mix to Charlie's bass and Lester's saxophone in taxi horns and brakes. Now Charlie's down in Mexico with the healers, so the sidewalk leads us with music to little dancers. They're dancing outside this crowded black bar. Dawn on me, we look up and there's a sign up on the awning. It says pork pie hat bar. And there were two brand new little musicians dancing there tonight.
Joni Mitchell there, and that was a program about Charles Mingus, the angry man of jazz. I'm vk3sl. Thank you for listening in, and we look forward to your company next week. Won't be around tomorrow, no missions tomorrow, but we'll certainly be on board next weekend at our usual time. So have a great week, folks. I'm vk3sl saying cheerio.